Creating a simpler and calmer life can feel tricky if you don't know what to do. Like, should you begin by getting rid of half of your stuff? Should you build a new morning routine? Or maybe take a break from everything and escape somewhere quiet? I have been on this minimalist journey for 8 years, and I have learned that simplifying your life doesn't have to, and in my opinion, shouldn't start with big dramatic steps. So in this video, I will share 7 things that are worth doing first, because even the most minimalist life can still feel overwhelming if you skip them. Get honest about your identity. Sometimes the hardest part of simplifying isn't what you let go of, but what you finally admit. You cannot create a lighter life if you don't know who you have actually become over the months, years, or decades. It is so easy to drift into habits you never meant to build. Starting shopping for comfort, or hoarding stuff for a feeling of security, or working harder for a sense of self-worth. We all have built little versions of ourselves along the way. The productive one, the shopper, the one who always says yes. Some of these identities might have helped you once, but eventually you might realize that how you spend your time, your money, and your focus is all shaped by those same habits and identities. And here's where honesty matters. If you have become a phone addict or a people pleaser, it doesn't mean that you have failed. It just means that you are human, but you need to see it. Because if you don't, you will keep trying to simplify the symptoms, not the cause. You'll keep reorganizing your schedule instead of asking why you feel it so much. You'll keep decluttering your home instead of seeing what's really hurting you underneath. You cannot build an intentional life on top of denial. So getting honest about your identity means naming what is real, not what you wish was real. Maybe you want to see yourself as calm and intentional, but right now you realize you're just restless and easily distracted. That's fine, because the moment you admit where you have drifted, you take back the first bit of control. When you see yourself clearly, it's easier to notice what's actually been giving you pain. That discomfort you might keep trying to push away has something to say, and I think it's time to start listening, because pain isn't always bad. It's information. It's your body and mind trying to tell you that something is out of alignment and not working. Many people try to simplify their life by removing what they can see, like stuff, routines, plans, but the real weight often lives somewhere deeper, like in your finances, not just in the numbers, but the pressure to earn a certain amount or to prove stability. Sometimes it's your home and being afraid of what others think about it. Other times it's your work, not what you do, so the job itself, but how you do it, or the meaning you have tied to achieving certain results in it. Simplifying isn't always about quitting things. It's about getting a better understanding of what is going on and reshaping things if they are not serving you anymore. One simple exercise that could help with this is to write down things that have felt heavy in your life lately, not just the tasks that keep you busy, but the ones that drain you emotionally. Then look at each one and ask what it's really about. Is it pressure, fear of failing, lack of clarity? When you understand the source of your pain better, decisions become easier and you start making changes that actually match the life that you want to create. Number 3, study your behavioral patterns. Most people believe they are making conscious choices every day, but research actually shows that around 65% of your daily actions happen automatically. The brain following old routines without us really realizing that. 65%. That means over half of your life is made up of patterns you didn't actively choose in that moment. Think about it, how often you reach for your phone without even realizing it. How often you start multitasking, even though you know that it just makes you slower? How often you say yes right away, even when you are already busy enough in your life? And how often do you rush through a simple task just to get to the next one, even when there's no real hurry? Simplifying life means focusing more on these moments so you can stop creating the same physical or mental clutter over and over. And a big part of that process is learning, understanding yourself, understanding your mind, experimenting with new ideas, and finding better ways to live, to work, and to relax that actually match the life that you want to create. A helpful resource for this is Skillshare, the sponsor of this video. Skillshare is an online platform full of creative classes that help you grow, explore yourself, and pick up new skills, from finding your path in life to starting new habits and hobbies. I've been diving into a class called Revolutionary Self-Care by Chidera Egre. She talks about how there is not just one voice in your head. There's your authentic voice that supports you and a false one that holds you back. It's the voice of fear, comparison, and pressure, the one that tells you you are not enough or that you cannot do it. I realized how easy it is to follow that voice without noticing. And if you listen to it for too long, you start to build a life that feels out of sync with who you are. Real simplicity starts with the way you speak to yourself, and it grows stronger when you learn skills that support that calm every day. That is something that Skillshare really helps with. If you would like to try it out, the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so go learn something that helps you reconnect with yourself again. Number 4, decide your non-negotiables. Before you start simplifying or decluttering, you need to be clear about what is not on the table, the parts of your life that give it shape and meaning, because there are a lot of things that deserve protection, not reduction. For some people, it's their collection of books. For others, it's a big closet of clothes they genuinely enjoy wearing and expressing themselves through. It could be a wall of plants that takes time to care for but brings life into the home. Maybe it's art supplies, records, or the cozy chaos of hosting your friends often at your place. These things might not look minimalist from the outside, but if they genuinely create meaning and joy, they belong in your life because they are what makes you, you. Getting clear on these non-negotiables protect you from drifting into someone else's version or idea of a simple life or enough. For me, a non-minimalist looking non-negotiable is, for example, owning both a PC and a laptop. I work from home most days, but sometimes I just need a change of scenery to work from a library or a cafe. Technically, I could manage with one device, but I know that being stuck between 4 walls every day would affect my mental health a lot. So having both options, a powerful PC and a lighter laptop, brings a lot of value in my life. Just the important key here is to be honest. Your non-negotiables should be part of who you are and what you value, not these nice to haves you just justify keeping. If you're holding on to something only out of habit and you don't really even care about that thing anymore, that's probably clutter that you should then get rid of. 5. Identify your strengths and weaknesses. I've been doing this recently and it has been great. Honestly, I think that this is what simplifying life is really about. Learning how to work with yourself, not against yourself. So start by dividing your life into a few areas like physical, emotional, social, financial, and work, for example. Then in each one, ask yourself simple questions like, what's my strength here? What am I really good at? And what's my weakness here? What keeps holding me back? Once you know those, you can start using your strengths as your advantage and focus your energy on improving the weak spots. So you are not trying to fix things that don't even necessarily need improvement, at least right now. For example, in my work or career area, my strength is that as a content creator, I have total creative and schedule freedom. I can work however I want, whenever I want. That is really a gift. That's something that I'm really grateful for. It's really a strength, but it can also easily turn into chaos if I'm not careful. So I have learned to use it as a strength and build more structure around it to channel that freedom that I have into consistent, meaningful work. So basically to treat my channel, my work, as a craft, not a treadmill that never stops running. And my weakness is that my work depends heavily on creativity and motivation. When those are low, everything slows down and starts to spiral quickly down. Like I lose my consistency, my income drops, my stress levels then go up, and every setback just feeds the next one. So I have started maintaining some creative rituals, like a simple system to capture ideas and real recovery periods that prevent creative burnout and help me stay sharp. And you should do this in every area of life. Physically, maybe you are great at staying active, but your diet is bad. Emotionally, maybe you are very kind, but try too often to please other people. Financially, maybe you are very good at saving money, but bad at enjoying what you have earned. The goal is a calm balance where you know what to lean on and what to grow. The sixth thing that you should do is aim for true value, not amount. You have probably seen those videos or posts online where people count and show everything they own. Maybe it's 100 items, or everything that they own fits into one suitcase. Those videos or posts might be interesting to see, but remember that that doesn't have to be your goal. Minimalism is not a competition, and it's not about reaching some magic number. You can have 10 things and still feel cluttered, or you can have 200 things and still feel free. It depends on how intentional those things are. When you start counting, you shift the focus from meaning to measurement. You start thinking about how much do I have instead of how much do I actually need. And that is where minimalism can start to lose its purpose. Instead of chasing the lowest number, keep what truly supports your daily life and lets you function with ease. For me, one example of this is my running shoe collection. I mean, it's not really a collection I intend to keep because I only keep them until they wear out. But right now I have around 6 pairs or 7 pairs, something like that. Many people might think that it's way too much because you only need 1 pair to run, right? But each one is different and serves a different purpose. Rotating between my shoes changes how my muscles and joints absorb impact when I run, which helps me to avoid overuse injuries. Then build a progress over perfection mindset. When people start simplifying their lives, they often want to go from the before picture to the after picture to have the perfect system, the calm home, the clear head, and usually as fast as possible. But life doesn't really work that way. Simplifying is not something you complete, it's something that you maintain. So instead of trying to achieve the perfect version of your life, look at what you can actually improve this week. Maybe you can finally unsubscribe from those emails that stress you out. Or spend 10 minutes every evening resetting your home so your mornings start calmer. Or finally make a rule for your phone use that you can actually follow. A perfection mindset makes you focus on how far there is still to go. A progress mindset makes you notice how far you have already come and what great things you can still do today. The truth is that your version of simple will keep changing as you do. There's no perfect setup waiting at the end, only the next step that makes life lighter right now. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can make slightly simpler today? and then do that. Because simplicity is built through hundreds of small actions that over time turn into a life that finally feels like yours. Thank you so much for watching. Check out Skillshare using the link in the description. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.